This is Extra Time. I'm here with my friend Mike. We're going to talk about Fantasy Premier League, some news and transfers in the football world, and see how we go. Mike, how's it?
Yeah, I'm good, and you, Nate?
Good. How's it for the non-South African listeners? Means how are you? Kind of a general greeting. So some insight is we both South African. Mike's South African. Mike moved to Canada, maybe 4 or 5 years ago now? Been a while.
Yeah.
Let's get into it. Want to talk about some fantasy football. What's happened over the weekend? What's happening in the world of football? This past weekend, good to have the Premier League back, don't you think? Good.
Oof. I don't know. It's like medicine for the soul, but it's also like poison for the soul.
I saw a meme. I'm sure it's going around. It's like this, Habzilla, that little guy. He got cancelled though. But anyway, we won't talk about that. You're walking around and he's saying the Premier League deciding my mental health for the next 10 months. I'm like, yeah.
It's true. It's true. And I was watching the game, and my wife was listening, and she's like, "Why are they celebrating like they won the World Cup when a goal got scored?" Because everybody in the stadium was so excited. And she was like, "It sounds like this is like the most important goal they've ever scored. Meantime, it's a 1-1 draw in the first game of the season."
Being Chelsea fans, we're both Chelsea fans, but we're not going to be biased with fantasy. But being Chelsea fans, I think that was probably the most excited I've been for an opening game in a very long time.
Yeah, I think it was just a Stamford Bridge recovery from last season, but I think everybody feels like that. Everybody was excited about the start of the Premier League, and it was good, and all the new rules as well, because that's going to affect fantasy because you've got more yellow cards.
Yes,
because you have at the time you've got referees being more strict about yellow cards, so that's all going to play into FPL for the season, because now you have to be like, which players is not going to get that -1, -2.
Was it McAllister at United? He did a little tumble, and I didn't think that was a yellow card, and the ref was like, "No, come, yellow card, booked."
A yellow card, if they put their hand up and they do this to the ref, yellow card.
Provocative.
If you ask the ref to card someone, you're going to get... So I saw a couple of times in the Chelsea match, the player goes down, the ref gives the free kick, and the player who got the free kick puts his hand up like this, and then he gets a yellow card. So the player who committed the foul doesn't get the yellow card, but the player who got fouled gets the yellow card for doing that. Which means we've got to be careful, because we're going to have... If the referees are doing this for just putting your hand up, we're going to have more red cards, which means any player that is a red card, like it used to be Bailey. I know there's another one that's Romero from Spurs.
Oh yeah,
like he's feisty. Like what's those feisty players we're gonna have to keep an eye on?
Casemiro have his day at United. Yeah. I think we're gonna see managers getting sent off as well.
Yeah, because I watched in the United game. I saw the manager got yellow carded because he was unhappy with that shocking decision not to give a penalty.
Yeah, I mean,
in the last minutes of the game.
Wait, let's talk about that. Let's get controversial. Do you think that should have been a penalty, and the way Onana came out?
I think the rules need a little checking, because a foul is a foul, and a foul in the box should be a foul. And if a foul is in the box, it must be a penalty if it's the opposing team. So it should be a foul, and it should be a penalty.
Yeah.
However, that being said, if we compare to Chelsea's handball from Jackson,
you see,
and then you look at Onana's, it kind of you kind of see that.
There's a lot There's a lot of grey.
I can't say give Jackson the penalty. Yeah, he did use his hand, and he kind of pushed it away too. But the VAR went, his hand is tucked in, and it's at close range. So they're using human logic to apply to a situation. So if they use their human logic to apply to a goalkeeper coming out and smashing down,
it'll never be black and white. It'll always be grey, because everyone has a different opinion.
I have to take it as, fair is fair. But at the end, but I do think that a lot of the times a foul in the box needs to be a foul in the box, and you can't. A foul in the box is a foul in the box. You can't just give the goal. We give the goalkeeper so much sort of rope. We give them leniency, so that's too much. Now you're gonna goalkeeper's gonna come out swinging a right hook, and you're gonna be like,
yeah, it's like Triple H was signed this man for WWE. I mean, that was a hectic dive though. Like he didn't look like he was trying to hit the ball. I mean, you never want to know what's going through a player's head, but I think it was a desperate attempt to try and make something happen, and he just connected.
Yeah, okay,
badly.
here's the thing. Bring it back to FPL. That Onana decision was big because how many people
he got 10
have
points,
Onana? 9. He got 9.
9 points.
9 points, right? When there should have been a penalty, and he was the cause of that penalty. He would have been docked so many points, and United would have lost their clean sheet. I was hoping they'd lose their clean sheet because I don't have Onana. I don't have a United defender.
Onana, so I was kind of happy it went his way.
But here's the question for FPL. A lot of people, not everybody, took out Onana because his preseason wasn't great. Okay?
Yeah.
He goes into this game and United were hanging on for dear life. Let's be honest.
Yeah.
The whole game, Onana did well to keep them in the game, but Wolves were rubbish up front. But then at the end of the game, he committed the mistake that could have, should have, maybe was a penalty.
Yeah.
And then everybody who had Onana would have been kicking themselves and wishing they didn't have Onana. Does that mean Onana goes into the next week as a safe bet, or does Onana go into the next week a mistake waiting to happen?
You see, that's the thing. That's the beauty of FPL, isn't it? You never know. You just have to make a gut decision. But I do think he'll come up. I think I don't know if he'll rise this week, but I think people bring him in because based off, other than that controversial moment, he played well. He kept the clean sheet for United. Their defense wasn't up to standard.
The whole team wasn't up to standard. No. Let's be honest. It was shocking. It was shocking.
Our friends who are United supporters said that it didn't even look like United had a preseason. It didn't even look like United. It's the first game week of the opening season, and they were a bit tired.
The Mason Mount effect.
Yeah. Stuff like that.
He ran all over the place, but did nothing.
But yeah, so getting back on track, the teams that most impressed you, what do you think? Who was quite the standouts for the weekend before we get into the deep dive of FPL tactics?
You know, obviously Chelsea came out and they actually built on their preseason by that draw. They fought back.
I was a bit nervous for the first 20 minutes of the game or so, but
that's the inexperience, but they did really well. They impressed me. I also have a shout out for Brighton because everybody was hyping them. Their defense does look a little weaker without Caicedo, but their attack is strong. João Pedro, we'll talk about him a little later.
Isaac? Newcastle?
He's it. Newcastle as well was on fire.
What a game.
But the team that most impressed me was Monday night. It was Wolves. Because I had written off Wolves as points fodder. They're going to get 5-0. They've been pretty poor at scoring goals. They still are. But I didn't know they were going to put up that much of a fight at Old Trafford.
They looked like a mid-table Euro team there.
Much as United was bad, Wolves were good.
Yeah. That's what I was going to say. I was like, do we take away from Wolves' performance because how tired United was? I don't think so. I think Wolves actually played.
They fought with the new manager, and they fought tooth and nail for every little bit of ground, and they're unlucky to have lost and not drawn or won that game. They deserve to.
Yeah.
So for me, it changes how I think, because I personally had Fernandes and Rashford. I doubled up on United, and I doubled up on United because I thought
that smash
Wolves are going to be. Now, if Wolves are going to play like that every week, they're not going to get smashed. So I don't know if the United double up. So for me, the team that impressed me the most out of everyone is Wolves, because I didn't see that coming.
No, I back that. I agree that the Monday night game was a different beast.
And that leads me into the next one, because the team that shocked me the most was United.
It's funny how that works.
Because everything else kind of I expected to a degree the way the weekend went with the teams, but United to come out into the season, they spent a little bit of money, not a lot, but they had a young team. They had everything about them. They had Fernandes as the armband. They looked a different outfit. They got rid of some of their problems, and then they come out and they do nothing. Rashford, nothing. Bruno Fernandes was really good, but FPL doesn't award that the second assist.
Yeah,
because he was the one that created that goal.
That chip was close.
So, I mean, he doesn't get rewarded for it, but United was shocking. Even I don't like United that much, but I was still hoping they would score. That's why I had 2 players in. So I'm shocked. I'm shocked, United. So I don't know what you think of United.
No, I am. I think if Newcastle played United, they would have won 5-1. I think Newcastle still would have won 5-1. Maybe
anyone who could score.
Maybe like 3-1 because of Onana. He was probably the standout player for United.
He's still back on Onana.
Yeah, I don't know. I haven't seen a keeper that dominant in a while in the Premier League. Maybe I haven't seen many games, but
I want to see him against a proper attacking outfit.
Spurs,
someone who can shoot on target.
But Spurs, Harry Kane going to play for Germany. What's going on? it's
sad. I saw a meme that said Harry Kane spent 1 season in the shadow of Haaland, and he was like, "Nah, I'm out. No more. There's no point because Spurs not going to win a trophy. He's not going to win Golden Boot anymore." So he was like, "I'm out. I'm out. I'm going to Germany."
But he's always been that striker that you can guarantee 20, 25 goals a season from. We've said this before, like off camera, that if United sign Kane, they would win.
They win the league.
100%.
They win the league. Yeah. Easy. But you spend 70 million on Mason Mount because you don't want to spend 100 million on Harry Kane.
Money Mount, bro. Money Mount.
So can we agree though, to bring it to FPL, since we mentioned Mount, that Mount is not a good asset for FPL?
I don't think so. I don't know why Ten Hag is playing him and Fernandes together.
They're playing them both as number 8s, and which made me feel like
then Casemiro's playing as a 10. Did you see that? Casemiro's pushing up over Fernandes and Mount because I don't know.
So does that mean, because I know we were talking about this, we were saying, who do we take out, Rashford or Bruno? And you were saying take out Rashford, but my problem is Bruno is on penalties, yes. And he's creating more, yes, but he's playing deeper, whereas Rashford is playing as the number 9. So he's more, if United
he's a striker in a midfielder position in FPL. He's playing striking position, but he's
but how long? Because Ten Hag might say now it's time for Holland. Mini Haaland.
The Wish Haaland.
Wish Haaland. It might be time for him to come in, and then Rashford moves to the wing. But either way, if Bruno is going to continue to fit Mount in the team, you're pushing Bruno to a number 8.
You're not going to spend 70 million on a player either to play him as a number 6 if he's an attacking player.
So basically, you're going to have to play Mount as your right wing, maybe, and you're going to have to play Bruno as your number 10. You have to just do it.
Yeah.
And if Bruno plays another game that deep, he's out for me. He's out. But I might just watch things for one more week.
Maybe, yeah. My gut instinct when I say to you Rashford out is like, I'll have to look at it and think about it later in the week. But just from his performance alone, he didn't stand out at all. At least Bruno did something towards the end of the game, but I think Rashford could have really improved. Maybe he just needs to find form, because we know what Rashford can do when he finds form. Scores 5 goals in 2
even
games.
Bruno's that type of player that he's double-digit hauls big time.
He'll switch on,
when he scores 20 points. And I thought that was going to be this game, but it's not going to be again. I don't know. We could have a Spurs thrashing. We could. Because they are looking leaky.
Haaland, any doubts really at this point? Always Captain Haaland. Make it a trend. Make it a hashtag.
Yeah, it's either Haaland or not.
Yeah.
But
he's up to 90.5% ownership from FPL managers. That is insane. I'm pretty sure that's a record. I don't think I've ever seen a player owned by so many managers before.
It's insane, and it should be 100% because
should be. The rest of the 10%. What are you doing? Put him in your team.
I have a team we're going to look up and look at, and there's no Haaland. So its auto picks sometimes doesn't go for Haaland because it means it spreads your funds out. So if you did auto pick, you may have ended up with a Haalandless team. It's worse than Wish Haaland. It's more like, I don't know what to call that, drugstore down the street.
Well, who else would you... Who do you play if you don't have Haaland in your team? You can't really. You need to have him. You have to make place for him. You're missing out on so many points. I don't think there's another player that can make such a differential, Maybe Kane,
he's gone.
If
you want to spread the points out, right? so you go, let's say you want to go with some cheaper forward options and bulk up your midfield. So it depends on Salah. Is Salah going to be a true sort of FPL on that same level if he's not throwing fits? So if you're going to have Salah, and let's say De Bruyne was actually, also not injured, and he was doing well.
You might make up your points in the midfield, or not having.
You make your points in the midfield, then you can focus on Alvarez for City, but it's too risky.
I agree. I think
a player over 50% has to be in your team. Yeah. That's my logic.
And if he's 90%, what are you doing?
90% is your captain. He's the person who's going to most likely score goals.
Yeah.
There's not really much of a choice.
I see the play in people going with the differential on the odd occasion that Haaland doesn't score. They make 20 points on him that game week. But I don't know. This kid is a robot. I don't know.
No. So the tactic with Haaland, and this is what I'm assuming most FPL managers, you are captaining Haaland every week. Unless you fall so behind that you have to take a risky differential captain. Then you captain Salah against someone or whatever.
Captain
but if you're not... That's in Mr. Our guest Dr. Team. He captained Chilwell. Did you see that? Is that why you said that?
No, and also because Chilwell actually played some good ball on the weekend. But that one as well. I mean, that was a weird captain. We'll get to that. There's a segment that we came up with at the end where it's called Team Doctor. So Mr. Mike over here will come and evaluate your team, and we'll talk about it. And it's submitted.
Dissect, yes. Create some surgery,
patch up,
or maybe just pat you on the back.
Just we just say, hold on your players. Good job. Who knows? We'll have to take a look.
Plague doctor. So just to recap, your goalkeeper pick for this weekend. Who is it? Onana?
It's going to be Onana. I don't think I'm going to change it. I know it's against Spurs, but I also think Spurs struggled a bit, even though it was a 2-2 draw.
So overall, you said, I agree with you, the best goalkeeper for this weekend was Onana, but it was risky. That's my thing.
This past weekend or this coming weekend?
Yes.
Yeah, I think
past weekend.
Was it Leno who got 12?
Leno, Fulham, yeah, but he also has bad fixtures coming up. Yeah. Leno has got who they're playing next. Fulham are playing.
They're playing Brentford on Saturday. Brentford on Saturday for Fulham.
They got Brentford, then they got Arsenal, then they got City.
Yeah, it's not.
Then their fixtures get better. So at game week 5.
You see,
so I don't know.
In my mind, I'm playing. You normally play. Well, I normally play 2 weeks. So yes, United have got Spurs this weekend, but next game week they got Forest. The game week after that is Arsenal. So maybe there you swap him out. But again, it's a goalkeeper, isn't it? You don't really expect much points. You expect 2-3. You're happy if you get 5. You're smiling if you get 7. But
so if we look at the most owned goalkeepers, okay, we have Onana and he gave it. We got Areola, which is everyone's bench 4. So the next best one is Ramsdale and Edison. Now, what do you think about Arsenal? Because they had good fixtures, but they conceded a goal.
I think Gabriel needs to play. I think that surprised everyone. But Timber, we need to wait until later to hear if Timber's injured. I don't know.
It looks like he's out for a couple of weeks at least.
That means Gabriel starts. So do we sell Gabriel? But I think I'd give Gabriel a week though. I think he might start. They're playing against Crystal Palace this week.
I think he played a more attacking team because he had an easier opening fixture there. I think so? A tougher, trickier team. He's gonna play his Gabriel Saliba centre back pairing.
Yeah, but Nottingham gave them a run.
Yeah, they did, but they didn't score the goal.
Well, that's why I enjoy this opening weekend. It's unfortunate that the promoted teams didn't do well.
They all lost.
Yeah.
They all ended up at the bottom of the table.
Every single one. But the year before's promoted teams, or the 2 years ago as well, they are holding their place nicely. It's good to see that they're climbing, It's not like, the worst team of the league every season. It's good to see that lower teams are coming up.
Premier League means money. That's why they got the monies now. Okay, so Ramsdale.
Yes.
Now, for me, I've learnt my lesson. There are only 2 players from Man City that are safe from Pep Roulette.
Pep Roulette. It's Haaland.
And the only 2 players is Haaland, yes, and Edison.
Yeah.
So if you wanted, because I mean, let's look at the clean sheets. Man City got a clean sheet. If you wanted to benefit from that clean sheet, you had Stones. Guess what? Stones didn't play. Neither did Walker start. How are you supposed to predict Man City's back? You can't predict it, which means that's the best thing to do.
I missed out on the deadline because luckily for me, I had Chilwell in my first position on the bench, and I had Stones starting. And I saw the news that Stones didn't travel with City, but it was too late. So I was just kind of hoping I heard rumors that Stones might not play. Then I wanted to make the change because I thought, let me just make the change because I'd rather have a 2-point Chilwell than a 1-point, maybe 0-point cameo from Stones, And then I heard
which you got from Gabriel anyway.
Yeah. Well, then I heard that Stones and travel, so I was like, okay, cool. I know Chilwell's coming in, and thankfully Chilwell did well, so I got covered there. But yes, it's weird or strange with Pep. You can never be sure about who's going to play.
Okay, let's pivot there. Can you tell us why you went with Chilwell as a bench fodder?
You've had me on about this the whole week.
Why you went on Chilwell and then you paid off? Not James, not waiting 2-3 weeks when their fixtures turn better, because Liverpool and West Ham are tough games. But you went with Chilwell on your bench, and I normally start FPL with my bench being just players who don't play. You put on your bench a 5.5 defender. Okay, that's a lot of money on your bench.
Yeah. It is. And
you didn't expect Stones not to play. So why did you choose Chilwell? Because I feel like he's a pick for us to discuss from last week, but also for coming week.
I wanted a Chelsea defender for fixtures 2, game week 2 to 8, because we have very favorable fixtures. So
best FDR.
I wanted to get ahead of the wave of bringing in Chelsea players. That's partly why I took out Jackson for game week 1 for Pedro, because I wasn't sure how he would play on his first game in the preseason, but I knew I always wanted first game of the season, but I knew I always wanted Chelsea assets, and I'm gonna bring in Jackson for the next 2 to 8 game weeks. That's why. So that's a direct shop. But then on that, I didn't want to take -4 because I knew Chelsea's defense would be good. It was good in preseason. It will be good now. They've played their first game. Nerves are calm. Pochettino will sort them out. So I decided to go with Chilwell, purely based off the Dortmund game, because Mudryk didn't start. And in my mind, the Dortmund game was Pochettino's idea of how he would start against Liverpool. So I'm not going to say I knew, because no one ever does, but it was a chance that Chilwell would play more of an attacking role, because I didn't think Mudryk would completely start, and he didn't, and Chilwell did play an attacking role, and I just got lucky.
It looks like Poch plays with the one wing back, or when he's playing a back 4, he plays with one of them tucked in as a centre back in a back 3, and he lets Chilwell bomb down.
Yeah.
And James, maybe because of James's injury history, they don't want him.
He's coming in defensive midfielder, but that's something I've seen with Pep though. Pep's doing that.
It's a new thing.
Yeah, Klopp did it with Trent.
Inverted centre back. Weird things. Arteta's doing it, Pep's doing it, Klopp's trying it, and now Pochettino. So it's the new thing, right? It used to be back 3 with wing backs, and now it's these weird defenders playing in midfield kind of thing.
Speaking of Klopp, just quickly, I hope someone checked on him over the weekend, because we basically stole 2 of his transfers.
I feel sorry for that, uncle.
I feel so. I'm grateful that I do not feel what Liverpool fans are feeling right now, because the way Chelsea's dictating my mental state is ridiculous. Like it's crazy. When Liverpool put in the bid for Caicedo on Friday, I was so upset. Like, it didn't even go through. I just saw them. I was like, I think I bombed you with text messages. You were probably asleep. I was like, oh well, shit, that's it. That's over. We lose the Premier League. Caicedo's gone. Anyway, so I can only imagine what Pool fans are going through. But shame.
Now, both Liverpool and Chelsea have been owned by Brighton. Okay,
Yeah,
and
Brighton's
Southampton,
the real top
because
dog in this
both
situation.
clubs went 100 million, 50 million, take it or leave it. And both Liverpool and Chelsea were like, nah, we're going to play the game. We're going to bid slowly. We could have
Damn.
got Casado for 100 on the dot.
If we just paid
And we let
a month ago,
we just paid 2 months ago, and we would have had him ready for the first game. We would have won the first game. No,
I think
we
so.
want to. And Liverpool could have done the same with Lavia. They could have bid 50 million for him a month ago, and they would have been in his team for this game. But no, and now his price is up to 60 million, and he doesn't even want to go to Liverpool. So
something about
Chelsea
there's
showed
something
interest.
there's something in the Cobham water at the training center that's making these people so excited for Chelsea. I don't know.
There's a young, youthful fire at Chelsea.
And Pochettino
We got a
knows
new
how
manager.
to manage it. He knows how to manage that fire as well. That's the thing.
I also think that, and this is controversial, so Liverpool fans can hate me on this. I actually feel like Klopp is cresting a wave now. Liverpool started, they went and hit that heights of the Champions League and winning the league, and then they're slowly starting to fail. And in the Premier League, that's an indication of your life cycle. So this season is very important for Klopp, because if he doesn't get his team tight and go back to winning ways, I think he's on his way out. I'm not saying he's a bad manager, just the way the Premier League works.
Yeah,
I feel like the wheel's turning here, and either he stays on or he gets out and Liverpool move on, and that's where he is.
Yeah.
But yeah, okay. So midfielders.
Yeah, let's bring it back. So
which midfielders in FPL were sort of were interesting ones for game week 1 and looking at game week 2?
Look, I'm gonna avoid the popular percentage picks. You know, your Sakas. I don't know if Martinelli was quite popular as a pick.
No. I agree with Martinelli is a pick. He's not a super popular pick, but he's one.
He's a pick.
Yeah,
because I picked him.
He's a pick. You did.
Mbuemo. I think he did. I think he got.
Matoma and Mbuemo
lucky.
did what.
I think he got lucky.
They did what they was. They did what they were supposed to do. Matoma and Mbuemo at their 6.5. They came in, they got their points,
and they left.
Right, mid-range, and they left. That's what everybody wanted them to do, and they did it. So at 6.5, you got your value.
As a 9 mil player, he would have scored that second goal against. Who did they play? Oh,
Spurs.
Spurs. Yeah. So anyway, but I think if you're not having Mbuemo in your team, I think you need to maybe make space for him. Personally, he's only owned by 9% of managers. That's not a lot. I think everyone's gone for the Matoma route. So either you have to have one of them. I think you need that 6.5 midfielder. If it's not Mbuemo, it's Matoma. Even March, Solly March didn't do too badly either. Let me look here. Who's the top owned players at the moment?
Well, okay, so if you're going to choose between Mbuemo and Matoma, who are you taking? Pick one.
For this weekend.
For this week coming.
Mbuemo. I think Brighton's up against the hungry Wolves. The pack hasn't eaten.
Yeah, if you had asked me before Monday night, I would have said.
I probably would have said Matoma. But pack's got to eat, bro. The Wolves are hungry.
Yeah. So, but Brentford are away, and Brighton are also away. So, so we'll see.
I think if you go in Mbuemo, bring in Pedro. I think you need to have a Brighton asset. I think Brighton are playing too well to sleep on an attacker.
If you don't have Pedro, you should have Matoma or March or someone in the midfield. Yeah. I have Pedro, so I don't have a Brighton midfield. Exactly. Neither do you.
No. But I'm contemplating taking Pedro out, but we'll get to that. I'll explain why.
Now, for midfielders, for me, okay, looking forward, Maddison is replacing Kane in terms of being the center focal point of all attacks from Spurs. He came out with that number 10 shirt.
And the captain's armband.
He came out with maybe they gave it to him later. I think they started with someone else.
Well, they gave it to him regardless, which is interesting.
Yeah. But I mean, to come out with the number 10 on your back and be the focal point of the attack. We know Richarlison's never going to be an FPL asset. Okay, let's just leave Richarlison out of this. Shame. Maddison, okay, at 7.5. in a Spurs team where he's the focal point, I think that if I was going to take a punt this week, and if United play like they did, I think Maddison's in for some points.
Because he assisted both goals, or what? I think he did. He assisted both goals on Sunday.
He got thick points, and he can get thicker points if United play the same way they did. That game could go any way. I'm not really itching to pull the trigger on Maddison for the United game, because United could use the previous poor game to be better, and it could be just very strong from them. I don't know. But after the United game, Spurs fixtures get better. There's no one in Spurs midfield and attack that I'm looking at. Son's too expensive, and we don't know how we'll play without Kane. But Maddison is the way to go. So I'm all for Maddison as the one to watch for the next couple of weeks.
Yeah.
And forwards, what do you think?
Ones to watch forwards, Jackson. I think you got to watch Jackson. I think you maybe even pull the trigger to bring him in. I don't know if.
But he missed the sitter in front of goals.
I know. So maybe it's.
And he nearly get a penalty and a red card or handball in the middle of the box.
Yeah, let's not talk about that.
These are good signs and bad signs. Like he missed the penalty.
I think he's raw. I think he's raw. I think he's nervous.
Yeah, he's very raw, and he does a lot of things where he's dribbling in the box instead of taking a shot.
That Madrid play at the end of the game, I think he could have just taken a shot. They might have cut him off. I can't remember. I have to go watch it back. It's unfortunate they didn't get something from that though, because that was similar to their interlinking play at preseason. I was really hoping for a goal there.
However, we do have Caicedo now. So if Chelsea have Caicedo, does that make Jackson better? Because Enzo will play further up, creating more. And we'll be defending from higher up, which means Jackson will have the ball closer to the box. So I agree with you. I'm just not sure about West Ham. I think if you can bring him in.
Yeah, you can't write off West. You can't write off anyone in the Premier League, though. That's the thing.
Yeah, but West Ham at home is tough for Chelsea.
No, it's a London derby. It is what it is. Hey.
So for me personally, I'm not bringing in Jackson till game week 3 against Luton because. Okay. I have other problems to sort out. Just by the way, I did.
Well, that's where I'm.
I brought in Chilwell just before the price raise.
Oh, did you?
So, yes, I did.
Nice.
Yes, I did.
I'm proud of you. Justified. I think it's a good bring in. Look, even if Chelsea don't keep a clean sheet, Chilwell will do something. I think he'll still get an assist or even a goal. It's Chilwell.
Are you on board with my idea that Isaac is a bad forward to bring in now with bad fixtures?
I think it's hype. I think if you're going into looking at, if you own him, keep him. If you don't have him, don't buy him yet. I think you wait. My plan might end up being banking a free transfer, just to see what I can do. Because yes, you can take -4. But -4 times 10, it's a lot of points. So
Isaac, it's just for everybody. Newcastle is playing Man City and Liverpool in their next 2 games.
Game week 2 and 3.
Man City away and Liverpool at home. Then Brighton and Brentford, which are not easy fixtures anymore either. Both of them are.
No, I think teams. Brighton is good. Brentford's also, they pop in.
So if you're looking at the next 4 fixtures for Newcastle, I'm staying away.
Would you?
I'm staying away.
Would you sell Isaac for Jackson?
Yes, but yes, I would. This week,
yeah.
Even now, if I had Isaac, I would sell him for Jackson. However, keep in mind that Isaac went up in price.
Yeah,
so when you go back for him,
it's
gonna cost a bit. So you don't benefit because in FPL a player has to rise by 0.2 for you to sell him and make profit.
Yeah. So at the moment you're selling him for what you bought him for. You don't make a profit.
And you're not going to be able to buy him back at the same price. So when we do go back to him, but his price could drop again if people look at his fixtures, but it isn't because people are bringing him in because people are trigger happy. Because masses of people are not compared to the same top 1,000 players. So the masses do their own thing, pissing off the top 1,000 players, making their lives painful.
Another forward there's 2 more forwards that I want to touch on. I'll start with the simple one. He didn't see many minutes. He played against us. Nunes. He had a good shot. I don't know if he was hungry enough. I don't know if he was as aggressive as he was in preseason.
So with way Klopp plays, he likes to play like super pressing football. And Nunes is more of that centre forward that holds the ball and he's good in front of goal. but he's not like a super high presser, like run around energy bunny like Diaz or Jota.
Yeah.
So I think I don't rate Nunes because he didn't start, and I don't think he's going to be a consistent starter. And honestly, when it comes to Liverpool, I just will stick to Salah.
That's the
maybe
thing.
Jota,
if you
maybe
want
Diaz.
if you want a Liverpool asset, it's got to be Salah at the moment. I've heard, like you said, Haaland and Edison are probably Pep staples and also FPL staples. I think if you go Liverpool, you need to have Salah.
You can't trust a Salah's price though, because it prices you out of things. So second best to Salah, my opinion, Diaz. Second best. I don't know if you agree with that or not.
Well, if you want to go Liverpool,
in terms of midfield,
yeah.
If you want a Liverpool midfield and you can't afford Salah,
McAllister played a bit deep this past weekend. Eh?
He plays the CDM because they don't have a CDM. They don't have a number
because
6 because we took them all. I shame Liverpool.
Shame.
Come back next week. We stole all the CDMs in the whole of Europe.
I barely found a bloody loophole in FFP. I'm telling you what.
So forward wise, I'm not looking at Isaac.
Sorry, Nketiah. That was the other one I wanted to mention.
Too many Arsenal. You got Martinelli, you got Saka, and you got a defender, right? Unless we're not gonna triple up on those three.
Odegaard,
and then there's also Nketiah as an option. But I still think Jackson, looking forward
is the one
to the best FDR from game week 3 up, is going to be the next pick for the forwards. There isn't many forwards that are good and priced right. So, because there's more midfielders, so you want to get the right forwards. João Pedro, brilliant on penalties. Jackson, best fixtures. Haaland, and I can give you a heads up now. That's going to be my front 3 in 2 weeks' time.
Game week 3, yeah.
Pedro, Jackson, Haaland.
Chelsea,
sorted. And even if Haaland sleeps,
if Chelsea beats West Ham on Sunday, I'll bring Jackson in straight after the game.
Because his price is going to go up. His price is going to go up, right? We're lucky it hasn't gone up yet.
Because he does have a few transfers in, which is interesting. So, Mike, we've spoken about our opinions, our preferences. What do you think should be happening at the weekend? Let's jump into the crux of the matter, the big question: who to captain?
This is going to be the easiest discussion for the rest of eternity, because everybody and their mother is going to captain Haaland. Right?
Right, next section.
Hold up. However.
Talk to me.
Okay. However.
Say something controversial.
If we do this captain pick segment, we got to talk about some other picks in there just in case. But this week actually is interesting because, number one, City are playing against Sevilla in the midweek in the Super Cup. If Haaland plays a full 90 minutes,
is he going to start?
Because City are playing a tough game against Newcastle. So if let's say Haaland doesn't start Sevilla, but City are losing 2-0, obviously Haaland comes on.
City
That's an injury risk.
He comes on.
That's an injury risk. That's a whole lot of things. I'm not saying transfer Haaland out your team, because he can still come off the bench and score next week against Newcastle.
But does he get 90 minutes on Saturday?
Is he your captain? And the truth is, Haaland is your captain unless there's a better captain choice. Now, if you look at your captain choices, my controversial captain choice for this week, risky, but you got to risk it to get the biscuit, right?
Yeah.
Liverpool versus Bournemouth, Salah captain.
It's interesting you should say that, because there's a segment coming up which I will discuss my feelings on Salah. What? All right. So that's your vice? Is that your captaincy pick if Haaland plays 90 minutes on Sevilla?
I think I have to watch the Super Cup. Depending on what happens with Haaland in that game, does he start? Does he play a full 90 minutes? If Haaland plays a full 90 minutes, I'm captaining Salah. If Haaland starts the match, 50% chance I'm captaining Salah. If Haaland comes on as a sub only, I'll stick with Haaland. Depending on if he gets injured or anything like that. But Pep Roulette you can't trust, right? So thing is with Haaland, he can come on as a sub against Newcastle and he'll still score points. He's done it before, and he'll do it again.
And on that, Salah logic against Bournemouth.
Okay.
I've gone with Saka as my differential captaincy pick. Nottingham Forest at home. You expect him to score. You expect him to do something, don't you?
Arsenal this week,
That
did
was
play.
game week. That was game week 2.
Yeah, they playing Crystal Palace. Now
Away.
That's a London derby, right? And it's away. But you are right that Saka, if you're going to choose someone from Arsenal, it's going to be Saka. And he scored 10 points. It's only 3 less than Haaland, right? Anything that good happens for Arsenal happens in Saka. And he scored a worldie against Nottingham Forest.
Yeah.
It was a sick goal.
Yeah.
So I don't disagree with you. But you know what leads me towards Salah? The way he walked off the pitch. Do you see when you remember he's throwing his things off, throwing his toys off the
Stamford Bridge? What's going on here? Bloody groundsman has to clean up after that, man.
If I was going to put my money on someone to score big against Bournemouth, it's an angry Salah. Unless Klopp benches him to prove a point, Salah comes on. He's like, I will show you why you should have left me on. And he scores a hat-trick against Bournemouth. Easy. First game, at home, Salah.
So have you
seen Bournemouth?
Have you seen the news around Salah though? The speculation
that
he's greenlit his agent for transfer offers from Saudi.
Probably because he's frustrated that he get taken off the pitch. This is true.
I don't know if he'll go. But previously, what the news articles are saying, what the reporters are saying, previously Salah was nothing to do with Saudi. He didn't want any offers. He told his agent no, nothing. But this week, I think it was yesterday, or it was this morning, he's given the go-ahead to accept requests from Saudi. So does
that might turn his head. That means maybe he's not the best pick. Do you think it's better just to stick with Haaland and at least we have Salah? I have Salah in my team. You don't have Salah, do you?
No, I don't.
So you see if
Well, there's your differential. That's the whole point of this. But the thing is, I think if Haaland's fit, he plays 90 minutes. He'll play as much as he can. I think if Haaland is fit, he'll play. He'll start.
It depends on how they line up against the Villa, because Alvarez has been playing as well, right? If he plays, Alvarez is his number 9 only. I agree with you that Haaland. I'm still thinking that we have to wait and see with the Super Cup and what happens.
Also, with that being said, does De Bruyne's absence affect Haaland's ability to score goals? He doesn't have as good service.
It didn't affect him.
Like how often is he going to score like that? I suppose.
It depends on the team that's picked and who picks up the creativity. Rodri, what a beast!
Wants to watch everybody. Rodri.
We still have Stones to come back in, playing in midfield and being creative too. We have Foden, who's pretty much depending on what happens midweek with the KDB injured, you would expect Foden to start now and be that creative force too. So I think even though I'm playing devil's advocate with myself, I'm still going to captain Haaland unless something happens midweek. Salah is my next best. Now, you don't have Salah, so you saying Saka would be your next best.
Yeah, he would be mine. Against Crystal Palace, it is away, but I think Arsenal can win it. And I think if anyone does it, it's him. I don't think Nketiah is as reliable. So it's probably going to be Saka. Between him and Martinelli, but again, Saka's the star boy, isn't he? So
every time I bring in Martinelli, he doesn't score. And then when I take him out,
don't bring him in so I can get points for him.
Okay, I just thought of this. I'm going to look into a crystal ball across the multiverse of different alternate dimensions of what could possibly happen.
Talk to me.
Weird situation. Bruno Fernandes, hat-trick or double-digit points against Spurs. I just have this feeling that Bruno's going to pop when we least expect it.
Yeah.
But I could be wrong. So it's an alternate reality.
Well, let's keep that logic, because the segment we want to introduce is called Buy, Sell, Hold. So we're going to do it weekly. Mike and myself are going to pick a player that we're going to buy, that we would buy, sell, or hold. Sometimes it may change. Maybe you want to bank a transfer, but this is what we think we should be looking at.
Or maybe we won't, but you should buy.
Yeah, maybe we need to repair your team, which we'll talk about later. But we'll have to take a look. So I'll start. My first player to buy would be Jackson. We've spoken about him a lot. People have spoken about him a lot. He's hungry. He's a bit raw, but I mean, like I say, even if you hold off of him for at least one more game week, I think by game week 3 you have to own him. He's got favorable fixtures for at least the next 4 or 5 weeks. So I think it you'd be foolish not to own him based on what we've seen in preseason. I think if Nkunku was playing yesterday or 2 days ago, he would have probably scored in Liverpool, and we would have probably beat Liverpool. But we'll have to see how Pochettino lines up to service Jackson. But I think he's someone that we need to look at buying. My sell pick.
Well, hold on. Let me do my buy first.
Okay.
Yeah. My buy is Maddison, because everything goes through Maddison at Spurs now. He's the number 10, and United were bad. And if they play that bad again, Spurs may actually be able to get something. So, and I feel like it's a very differential pick. Whereas Jackson, I feel like everybody has to go on Jackson. If not this week, price is going to go up before game week 3. You have to buy Jackson. You don't have a choice. You'll be falling behind. With Maddison, he's a bit of a differential.
He's a bit of a dark horse, isn't he? He's just there. He's lurking.
His ownership is at, let me just check his ownership. Right now, as of right, his ownership is at 12%. It's not quite a differential, because your differential picks are normally under 10%. But I still think he's an interesting one for the midfield slot if you've lost faith in some players in midfield, which we'll get to the sell. Do you want to go first with your sell?
Quickly on that topic, if you've lost faith in the midfield, if you've got 2 United assets in Rashford and Fernandes, do you get rid of one of them for Maddison?
Yes.
Yeah, I would say the same. Who though? Do you get rid of Rashford? Or it's fine. We'll get there. I may have taken a sneak peek at your sell. We'll see. Or your hold. So, who knows? We'll see. Well, if we
who do you want to sell?
So, Salah.
So you buy captain pick for game week 2. You say we should sell.
Here's why I say sell. I don't know what Klopp's going to say to him behind the scenes, but I think if you're throwing tantrums from being subbed off, it doesn't look good. I don't know if that's going to affect his playtime. We'll have to see. It doesn't look good. If it could show that he's hungry. It could also show that his mental game is out the window. So he could be trying too hard. I think that the fact that he's allowed Saudi offers now over that weekend, I don't know. I don't think it's a player that you should be playing. I could be wrong. It's just my preference. I mean, the attitude says everything, doesn't it? And if your mental game isn't there, you're not going to perform, which is why I say sell. And I went a bit ballsy because he's 12.5. You can get better midfielders with better returns for that value. You could bring in Maddison and sell Salah. I would do that.
I agree on I really do agree with everything you said. And this, for the listeners out there, just to know, Nathan has beat me like 5 out of the 6 FPL seasons.
We have a mini league going on with us and a bunch of friends, which we might start one for this podcast. So we'll put a poll up somewhere on X, Twitter. Anyway, so I think this is my 4th year now that I'm trying to win. I've done 3 in a row, hey? And last year I did the World Cup as well, which is quite an achievement. I told Mike I'm more than happy to retire after that, and you can win.
No, this guy's Man City vibes. You want to he's this pep here. So what I'm saying to you is this: I agree with him, because I know that he is always right. He brings in Chilwell scores. He tells me to sell Salah moves to Saudi. So I listen to this man, but at the same time,
I think your own logic. You got to think your gut.
Salah versus Bournemouth. An angry Salah.
If anyone does it,
big haul.
If anyone does it, it's going to be Salah. I will say that though. If anyone does it for Liverpool, it will be him. If Liverpool blank, I told you so.
Okay. Now my sell pick is a little late for everybody, because you should have sold him yesterday. Or actually no, his price hasn't dropped yet, but his price might drop tonight, or by the time this podcast goes out, he could have dropped. Stones. Now, reason why I say sell Stones. I sold Stones for Chilwell because I wanted to beat the price rise of Chilwell. And in case Stones dropped last night. Stones did not drop last night, but if you look at his outgoing transfers, Stones outgoing transfers, last I checked, were over 400,000.
Oof.
Okay. Transfers out. So that was the last I checked. If I look now, just double check what it is.
496,000.
Yeah, it's close to 500,000. He's going to be dropping tonight, maybe.
He will.
So for me, if you're trying to make that not lose a 0.1, sell Stones, because as we said earlier in the show, Pep Roulette were the two players you can trust. Haaland, even if Haaland doesn't play, you still have to have him, and Edison. So maybe later in the year, I might go to Edison as a goalie, but since I didn't start with Edison and have Steele, I'm just going to sell Stones. I'm not going to play Pep's roulette. He can play his own roulette. I'm not a gambler like that. So I would sell Stones before his price drops. You can add Gabriel into that.
So what if you have Gabriel? You've got Gabriel, Chilwell, and Stones. Who are you selling Stones for? Do you bring in Luke Shaw?
Luke Shaw's 5.5, same price, right?
Yeah.
Yes. Well, if you don't have Onana, that's a good one. If you do have Onana, then you might want to just take a look at their fixtures and also maybe watch Onana one more week because he was lucky. But speaking about United, right? If you're gonna bring in someone, there are other defenders at United. Varane, he picked up the points.
You could even go Saliba if you don't have. You could double up on Arsenal for a week.
That's what I did, like an idiot, because I didn't get my team out in time.
You could double up on Chelsea. You could double up and go Chilwell and James if you don't have Jackson.
Do you know who impressed me the most? And he's at a budget price. And I know we're deviating, yeah. Aaron Wan-Bissaka. He's got 12 points. Bissaka. He's not Saka. He's a Berserker. AWB, the Spider. He is 4.5.
No way. Did I miss that?
4.5 million. He seems to be nailed on. Okay. Someone can correct me if I'm wrong, but Bissaka I think he got the bonus points for the game.
He got max bonus points.
All 3 bonus points. Watching the game, if United were rubbish, I'm being honest with you, but he was the best. He was the one that impressed me the most out of everybody because he was consistently better than he's been all the last couple of years. And I used to like him, and then I thought he was rubbish for a while. But at 4.5 million, if you want to weigh into United's defense, he's your man.
You have to. He's only 2.7% owned.
That's a big differential. And if you don't have Onana, he's good, and you make 1 million of Stones before his price drops. So I don't know if my buy just changed to 1%.
You know what though? I have 1.5 in the bank, and I've kept that for Jackson.
I
would say Baldock for Wan-Bissaka, but that means I'm holding Stones. So I think you've just given me my next move. I'm going to sell Stones.
I'm giving him all he needs. Yeah, I would say we need to research a little bit more about his position in the team. At the face of it, I don't know who plays in his position. Dallo, maybe he plays instead of him. There's other ways that United can line up.
I just don't know how I feel about a United defensive asset against Spurs this game week.
No. I don't know about Spurs. It's a tricky one.
Maybe against
you
Forest.
already have Onana.
Yeah.
But I think if you want to beat the price drop of Stones.
Yeah.
And you got to pull the trigger right now.
You either transfer now or you.
And he's going to be on your bench anyways. I think he's a good 4.5 for your first spot on the bench.
Not bad.
At least.
No. He'll give me a mil.
I don't think anyone's looking at him particularly. So if he does another big double-digit haul, I think he's going to be one to bring in when United's fixtures possibly get better.
He's definitely a player to watch. Yeah.
Game week 3, they play Forest.
Yeah.
Game week 4, it's Arsenal. This is United. They play Arsenal, which is a tricky one, but United always pull it out against Arsenal and Liverpool and all of that.
Mm-hmm.
And then after that, their fixtures get Burnley, Brighton, Palace, Brentford, Sheffield. Oh, they actually have a decent run. So looking at that game week 3.
Yeah, bring him in.
I think a lot of people
Give
might
him
play
a
their
run.
wildcard game week 3, but that's another topic. Anyways,
Yeah,
back to our
that's a topic
hold.
for next week when we've got a
So
chip.
your buy is Jackson, my buy is Matters. Your sell is Salah.
My sell is Salah, yours is Stones.
So what's your hold?
My hold is Gabriel. I think it's unfortunate he didn't get to start. I think Arteta was trying some things. Like you say, it also wasn't the biggest of teams. So it's probably why he felt a bit devious, I guess. But I think Gabriel is a bit premature to sell now. He can still be an asset. And look at it's. There's a reason why. I'm just going off on my tangent. I might retake that whole section. What did you ask me? Why is my sell? Okay,
Who to hold?
my hold is Gabriel. Because Arsenal have Crystal Palace this weekend. It's not the strongest of sides for Arsenal. It's unfortunate that Arteta didn't start Gabriel, but I think he might have been recovering from something, if I'm not mistaken. He came on in the last few minutes just to get a run on. He's still owned by 30%, and I don't think his price is dropping that rapidly. I could be wrong. He's got 160,000 transfers out, so there's no rush. I don't think you should make a hasty decision and get rid of him if you have him. If you don't have him, there's no point in bringing him in. But I think if you got him, you hold. I think there's a better transfer to spend somewhere else in the team than on Gabriel. So,
Yeah, I agree. I agree with you. I agree with Gabriel being a hold for now because I don't think his price is going to drop.
No.
Now, I got a hold on Rashford. It's, this is the thing about me. I'm saying bring in Madison. I'm saying United were rubbish, but then I'm telling you AWB's demand to bring in.
This is the thing. Now, so you've got 2 United players, and you told me earlier that you would sell one of them for Matters. So who do you sell for Matters? Because you don't sell Fernandes, do you?
Well, I don't know. Because if Fernandes is playing in a number 8, in 2 number 8s deeper on the field, every time I looked at him, he wasn't involved in the play. He wasn't playing in the number 10 pocket because the United played like 4 up front, and he had Mount and Bruno playing like deeper, both of them.
Yeah.
So it felt like and the proof of that is the fact that Bruno Fernandes was integral to the goal, but he was a second assister. Yeah. In other words, he set it up. If he's going to be setting up goals for people to assist and score, then what's the point of having him in your team?
I think Ten Hag needs to figure out what he's doing with that squad. It seemed like he didn't really know what was happening on Monday night.
Based on Monday night's game, I'm selling Bruno and I'm putting faith still in Rashford because Rashford plays for a striker as a midfielder. Rashford will move to the wing when Wish Haaland is ready to start. So I'd hold Rashford to see, because also Spurs game is an enigma. This could go anyway. United can draw the game. United can win the game. United can score 7. Spurs score 7. Who knows?
You don't know,
right? Yeah. Like, this is the type of game where anything goes, anything happens. New manager, no Harry Kane. United new goalkeeper. A lot of new things happening. So,
well, the nice thing about this segment is that we get to give our opinions, and then next week we get to see who was right.
we can do a points thing. The points to be like, okay.
We'll get a whiteboard going. I'll maybe put it up at the back, and we'll mark a point. Mike 1, Nate 0, and then the listeners can also give us their 2 cents worth, telling us, you should have held on to Salah. I knew he wasn't going to Saudi. Made me sell Rashford. You damn.
We all know we're all going to be sitting here, and Nathan's going to be like, I told you to sell Salah. And I'm going to be like, why did I captain Salah?
Please play the Premier League game however you see fit. We're just giving our 2 cents opinions. But I do think they're quite educated. I mean.
Well, unfortunately, we've just run out of extra time.
Oh,
so
damn it.
The whistle's been blown. The match is over. The podcast is done. We'll have to pick it up next week. And what we have planned for you, for those who want their team doctored, we have a YouTube clip coming up soon where we're taking a team and we're going to dissect it. Surgery will be applied and fixed. So we have a friend whose team is in need of dire help. So we're going to work on that, and we'll be on YouTube, right, Nate?
Yes, yeah. And the more we do of these, feel free to submit teams to us. We will get socials up and running. We'll get email addresses so you can send through submissions of teams. If you want us to have a look at your team, if you want us to have an opinion on your team, you can send it to us. Details will be on social media platforms, so take a look and watch the space for extra time.
Perfect. Well, thanks very much for listening to us, and we'll chat to you next week.
Cool.
When Salah scores a hat-trick.
Or goes to Saudi.